And to the question of escalation and fears of it, Germany has long opposed Ukraine's NATO integration, despite the open talks now that Ukraine's joining, I quote, is inevitable. We still hear expressions from the German Chancellor that Ukraine joining NATO would threaten Germany with an open conflict with Russia, and the position on Taurus missiles have not changed. And today I will interview Mr. Andreas Umland, an expert in German politics and many more questions at the Stockholm Centre for Eastern European Studies. Hello and welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Greetings. And Mr. Umland, my first question will be whether, in your opinion, there are political conditions under which Chancellor Olaf Scholz would be forced to give the go-ahead for the Taurus missiles. I'm not saying the direct transfer, but the go-ahead, like the agreement to use them.
So far, I think there are no signs that indeed Scholz will give such a permission and that these cruise missiles will be actually delivered to Ukraine. Neither from Germany nor from other countries, because even if other countries would want to give it to Ukraine, Germany would have to agree to that. And even that seems to be so far not possible. My suspicion is that as long as Scholz remains Chancellor of Germany, such a permission will not be given by Germany.
And we are seeing a political discourse in Germany actually going on. The Chancellor opposes Ukraine joining NATO, as far as we know. Maybe other politicians have a different opinion on this.
Yes, there is a range of opinion even within the current coalition, which consists of three parties: Scholz's Social Democratic Party, the Green Party, and the Free Party of Germany, the Liberals. So they have different views on that. The Green Party is perhaps the most pro-Ukrainian party. But in any way, I think the accession of Ukraine to NATO, as long as the war continues, it doesn't look very likely to me anyway, because one would have to have the agreement of 32 member countries of NATO, and it doesn't look to me so far very likely. Maybe the question will be for next year whether Ukraine would already receive an invitation to NATO. Rather than the immediate accession.
And German politicians seem to be far too cautious in the question of projecting force against Russia. Why are they so afraid of it? Maybe there's some inside reason for this.
Well, they are so afraid of this because they are afraid of Russia. There's also sometimes the suspicion that there are economic interests or still sympathies for Russia. And perhaps there are also these factors, but I think the by far most important factor nowadays is simple fear of Russia, sometimes also simply called in English with the German word Angst, a sort of panicking fear that sees a delivery, for instance, of the Taurus missiles to Ukraine as the start of World War III, perhaps even of a nuclear war. And that's why there is so much resistance in Germany against delivery of these weapons or Ukraine's accession to NATO as long as the war continues. But otherwise, Germany still is relatively pro-Ukrainian, and the Russian Federation has lost its reputation. So this has less to do with the war, actually, but more with the threats that are coming from Moscow.
And maybe the final question or opinion for you, just and from you, about the Ukrainian-German relations. How do you view them right now? Maybe there should be some differences and different approaches from the Ukrainian side, or maybe Germans could ramp up their support in other formats. What's your opinion on the German-Ukrainian diplomacy right now?
It's a difficult and ambivalent relationship, and therefore also a complicated diplomacy, because Germany, in spite of these resistance against delivering the Taurus missiles or Ukraine's accession to NATO during the war, there's still significant support from Germany for Ukraine, not as much as one would hope, not as much, let's say, in terms of the percentage from the GDP as there is from, let's say, Denmark or Sweden. But there's still support for Ukraine, including also military support, including also heavy weaponry. And also the German public opinion, although it is unfortunately so far against delivering Taurus missiles, is still in its majority for supporting Ukraine militarily, and a significant part of the electorate is even for more supporting Ukraine than currently.
Thank you very much, Mr. Umland. That was a nice talk, and we hope that Ukrainians will understand Germans more, and so the Germans will understand the threats that are coming up from Moscow, and Ukrainians who are safeguarding actually Europe from those threats right now. Thank you very much for being with us. And that's all for today, folks. Hope you like our wrap-up format. Be sure to comment in the section below and share this video to show Ukraine's point of view on what is happening in and with our country. Thank you and stay safe.